It's your boy DJ Wolf here. Got something on my mind this morning. Give me a second. I'm trying to gather my bearings here this morning. I'm coming off this Thanksgiving Day weekend. I wasn't off, of course, but Thanksgiving I was off. Anyway, I was thinking about something. It just kind of hit me heavy on my mind. Things I've seen, based on things I've seen and things I've experienced in my lifetime. Excuse me. I know we talk about single parent homes where 70% of the single parents are mothers, right? Raising maybe one or more children. And there is another side to it. There's two sides to everything. There's a right and wrong. There's an up and down. There's a high and low. There's a big and tall. There's a fat and short and skinny. There's a broke and rich. There's a rich and poor. You get my message. In this case, you have single mothers, and you also got deadbeat dads. All right? And in this case, you also have absent fathers as opposite to single mothers. Now, yeah, I talk about, single mothers in their life who are irresponsible when they have multiple children and no father in the home, and that's basically because of the type of guys they mess with. And I'm talking about, when you talk about ones, one off, whatever, or two kids with the same guy, we're talking about like a woman or women who have multiple children by multiple fathers. That's a completely different story. All right. Here's my thing. My thing is this. Again, there are two sides to every story. There are absentee fathers who are as responsible for why you have so many lost young men out here today. And that's a fact. It's undeniable. You have to admit it. They are as responsible as the mothers. In some cases, more so. They don't take the responsibilities that they should as men. Some of them call themselves men, but they're really boys. Yeah, I said it. Some of y'all so-called men call yourself men because you know how to make kids. Well, unless you're actually taking care of them the way you're supposed to do, and you got all these kids running around, and you ain't taking care of them, you're still a boy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I said it, and I meant what I said. And you have to understand one thing. This is my goddamn opinion. It's true. You cannot sit there and say you're a man and not be responsible for your kids. Only real men take responsibility for their children. Because I do feel there's two sides to every story. A lot of these young men are out here doing what they're doing today because of the lack of fathers in their life. Some respects might be because of the mother. Other respects might be because of the father. Other respects might be because of both. You also have young men that come from homes where there was a mother and a father. And the father was sometimes absent, and sometimes he just didn't give a fuck because he was out there doing his own thing. Or didn't really instill confidence in their male children. That has happened many times over. And it actually messes with their self-esteem, and you're looking to get into other things. And we as men, black men, we need to really get involved in our children's lives. And stop making excuses about, well, I ain't had no daddy. Tired of that stupid shit, that tried true shit about, oh, I ain't no daddy. So you're not going to be a daddy to your kids because your daddy wasn't there for you. That's a punk move. That's a punk move. I'm sorry, brother. That's a punk move. You're not going to be your kid's life because your daddy wasn't there for you. Now you going to act like a total bitch because your daddy wasn't there for you and you ain't there for your kids. That's some old silly shit to me. It's silly as hell. And very selfish and immature. You know, and you wonder why you can't get a good woman. And you wonder why you got to mess with the type of women, you attract only a certain type of women. Because you don't act right yourself. Just like the women. These women out here, somebody they want a good man. But then again, look at the kind of guys that they mess with. They only attract certain type of guys because of the type of women they are. It's no different. You know? In lies the problem. You know? When you get yourself together, you can get things together. And we tend to be lackadaisical in a lot of things and choices that we make and the people that we associate ourselves with. We don't take the time to use any common sense. We don't take the time to make a better approach and do better things with our lives. We just want to, you know, go up in there, lay up in there and move on. You know, even I was told as a teenager, go on in there, get on in there and move on. You know, and I understood why I was told that, because they didn't want me to sit there and assume that I had a baby with a girl that probably wasn't mine. But that's what they got DNA and blood tests for. You know. But the thing of it is, if you want to lay up with women, or you women gonna lay up with guys, lay with the guys about something. Lay with no bum crusty ass nigga based on his dreams, based on what his potentials are already locked into. You know. And same thing with the guys. But here's the thing. You gotta be of like mind yourself in order for you to be able to get involved with anybody of that type. Or at least I think you should anyway. Because otherwise you're just wasting your time. You know? Because I know of guys who've made bad choices and openly talked about the bad choices they made with the baby mama to the kids. And I think that's also fucked up, for lack of a better word. Because you're telling your kids that you probably ain't gonna work to be shit because your mama ain't shit. Right in front of the kids. And I think that's wrong. You don't build strong black young men and women by breaking down their self-esteem, by telling them how fucked up the mama really is. Now, they probably already know that, you know. Or you tell them, hey, if it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't be with your mama. You know? Why should a child be hearing that kind of shit? You're not helping the situation by telling them that kind of stuff. Or, in some cases with certain parents, or fathers at home with the kids, you ain't be like me. You ain't be nothing like me. You know? When men, and I quote, in some cases, men, say that kind of stuff to their kids, you're setting them up for failure. That's the bottom line. Whenever you tell a child they'll never be as good as you, or you won't be able to handle the kind of stress they handle, even putting that thought about, oh, they won't be able to handle this, they won't be able to handle that, you already set them up for failure. You actually program it in your mind that they'll never be as good as you. And you put them down, calling them all kind of names and stuff, doesn't help either. You're not building character in kids when you do that kind of stuff. You know? And black men who have kids, especially, they need to wake up and realize that. You can't sit there talking about, well, we gotta stay strong now when them kids are 15, 16, 20 years old. They don't want to hear that shit at that point. You need to tell them that kind of stuff when they 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. You don't break down a child in his earlier years and then call yourself trying to build them up after the fact, after you put in their mind that they can't do anything, or they'll never be as good, or tell them that the mother is a total whore. It makes no sense. And I'm going to tell you something else. Some of this stuff that was programmed in some of these kids' minds started back generations ago. It didn't just start in the last 25 years. It didn't even start in the last 30 years. It started in the last 50 years plus. And what makes it so bad is that during the time when things was good and one time when things was productive for African Americans, when jobs was plentiful and black families were actually, at least a number of black families, were out there able to make ends meet. They had nice homes and jobs and cars and all of that. They didn't think about building their kids to be able to be productive and do things and do those kind of things. Not only those kind of things, but build them up, make sure that they got educated, allow them to thrive, and allow them to build character so they can actually be productive in their lives. No, that downward spiral started over 40 years ago. I know people say it started after slavery. No, it started, now if you really think about it, I'm talking about modern day families. This is what I know. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we have this generation of failed families. Because the families that were there did not build on their success to ensure that their kids will have the same success or the same type of success they had doing something. By breaking them down. By telling them they're not good enough. Or telling them that, or having you measure yourself, them to your standards of that you don't think they'll ever meet up to. Here lies a big problem. If we don't start as men, black men, taking responsibility to build our kids up and to instill greatness in them instead of tearing them down, instead of telling them what they can't do, instead of name calling them. Some of the kids may not ever have a chance, man. Especially the fathers who are completely absent in their lives, both mentally and physically. That's where the problem lies. But it's part of a bigger problem. The lack of a two-parent household with the moral compass to instill greatness in the children. That's the problem. And it doesn't matter about, I don't want to hear about, well, we poor. I don't want to hear this shit. You have poor families way back when, okay, that instilled greatness in their children. And what happened to their children? Many of their children became great. Many of their children built on that and built it through generations and generations. You know, you didn't practice division within your families, because I've seen that happen too. You had a lot of you had some families that actually did that, build divisions, not only with other relatives, but within their own family. That's why you have a lot of structural deficiencies within a lot of black families, because of the stuff that's created in the families between the parents, where the division was so deep that nobody in the family got along. Where nobody in the family talked to each other. No. That's probably why Thanksgiving is the joke that it is. When you sit there and have Black Friday on Thursday, in the early morning, middle of the day, or in the evening. Because it's not important. I remember back in the day, it's no joke, stores used to close early on Wednesday, so I could prepare for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, you wouldn't have 3 stores open the whole day. Almost most restaurants would be closed. You know? And no one would be shopping before midnight. Nobody. Not at all. Or wouldn't be talking about it anyway. Thanksgiving used to be like that. And don't get me wrong, I know some people will say, well, Thanksgiving wasn't considered a holiday that would include black people. You're right. But the message about Thanksgiving in general is what I'm talking about. I know about all that other shit. You know, I don't celebrate because it's a white man holiday. I celebrate because of the message about giving thanks to what you have and what you're able to have within yourself and within your family. Because that's the bigger picture as well. I noticed I was watching a TV show. I watch it. Don't know why I watch it. It's not even that. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a great show to me. It's called The Mirror. It's currently running on ABC. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll give it a little plug. Of course, it's stereotypical like a motherfucker. Because I wasn't going to talk about that. Actually, I'm already thinking about creating a channel where I talk about stereotypes on a separate channel. But we'll get into that later. But right now, I want to talk about that right quick. And I'm going to cut this off. This is the other thing. See, this is also incorporated in an American lexicon about stereotype families. And this was it. A show called The Mirror, right? It's about a young guy who really, his only aspiration was to become a rapper. This guy is like pushing close to 30. His character is pushing close to 30, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, he lives with his mama. There's no daddy in the picture, not even a mention of him. Not from the episodes I saw. And he has 2 homies that work for him. And the 2 homies, really, I don't really know what the jobs really are. I think they're just 2 flunkies. And then I guess the assistant or whatever she is, I don't know if she's a vice mayor or whatever. I think she works on staff, who had to be white. I'm assuming she's white. She had to be white. She's the smart one. The homies are idiots. Yeah. If you watch the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the mayor himself has issues. He doesn't even have a great sense of maturity about it. He don't. He gets, it's just something about that show and the stereotypes that bothers me to no end. I know what people want to say, it's a comedy, but think about all the things that's programmed into the show that makes it a stereotypical show. Young black man, no real other basic formal education, no college. He wants to become a rapper. He was an aspiring rapper when he decided to become a run for mayor. Raised by a single mother who works in the post office. Right. Who he lives with. Father nowhere to be around. His two homies are nothing but flunkies. And the one who's the smartest one was his opponent, who happens to be white, who works alongside him, who's a female. And she's white. Interesting. This is what I'm talking about. The show is completely. The show is completely stereotypical, like a motherfucker. It really is. I just shook my head. It amazes me, man. It truly amazes the fuck out of me. But what I'm trying to say is, even on a grand scale, black fathers are looked at, for the most part, as being weak. The black mothers are looked at as being strong. They're being looked at as the breadwinner, as the leader of the household. And yes, I'm attributing back to women on this, with the women's lib thing, where women can do anything man can do. Well, there's some truth to it, but there's not a lot of truth to it. I'll be honest with that. But the mentality is, and the lexicon is, that it's the women there are the strong sex. A black woman is strong sex over a black man. That's why as black men, we should not allow the media or anybody else to dictate our presence or status in our community. But we allow people to come into our communities and dictate who we are as men. We've allowed it through drugs, through joblessness, through women's lib, through the media, and everything in between. And until we stand up as men and do what we need to do to take care of our kids and take our rightful place where we need to be as men in our households, we're going to be the butt of all jokes. And so will our kids. This is DJ Wolf. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe. Thank you for listening and watching my channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for allowing me to get the things off my chest that I need to get off, to talk about the things that we needed to address. I'm hoping by this weekend sometime I'll be able to do a podcast. I've been saying for the last 2-3 weeks, because I want to do an open podcast where I invite people to come on my show, but I'm going to actually try to get Blog Talk Radio back on. I just haven't got it back in yet. Hopefully it'll be soon. But in any case, I'll let you know. This is DJ Wolf. I'm out.